Hey everyone, welcome to my totally unscripted orientation to using trial hearing aids. And here I am, nice, not confusing, blue shirt. It's what you do after a while when you've done some interpreting, is you want your hands to be able to show. So, okay. Here is a hearing aid box, and typically in the hearing aid box you're going to find a couple of things. The front of the box has a button. When you pop it open, it looks like this. I typically will include some extra domes, which look possibly like this if they're open domes, or more like these if they're closed domes. See how they don't have the same kind of holes in them? How do I make that show up a little better? See how there's all these holes? That's an open dome. See how there aren't holes except for these two little tiny ones? Those are closed domes. I do tend to use closed domes on auditory processing type fits because they allow better filtering of background noise. And when the domes are open, those little holes let all the sound come right through, including the background noise you don't want to hear. Okay, so inside of the box I typically will have a couple of sizes of domes, and when you open it you're going to notice that I usually will ship them with some batteries inside the case. Let me show you what that would look like. Okay, so this won't be closed, it'll be partially open, and the opening is right there. If I open it some more, you'll see that there's a battery. See how this is totally flat? There's no ring on it or anything. If I take this battery out, one side of it is flat and the other side of it is not. Here's the unflat side, see the ring? And the flat side is the other side. So putting a battery into the hearing aid, pop it open, the flat side goes up. If I put it in upside down, what you're going to see is that it's very, very hard, if not impossible, to close the battery door. Can't do it. So make sure the flat side is the correct way. You don't want to jam the door. On the Unitron aids, they actually have, although I don't think you'll be able to see it, there's a picture that actually shows you which way to put it. It is normal when the battery's in. If you hold it to your ear, it goes. Hear that squeak? That is normal. To hear a little bit of a squeak, it's the sound coming out from the receiver, which is this end, underneath the dome. It's a speaker, and it goes to the microphones, which are in here. And when the two interact, it makes a whistle. Okay, so that's the battery. I'm going to have packaged a pack of batteries, either size 13, more likely they'll be the brown ones, which are size 312. And every night you're going to open the little battery door, and in the morning you close it. If you hear two beeps, beep, beep, it means the batteries are going to die. Or if your trial's been going on for longer than 6 weeks, it means the trial is ending. One thing you'll notice at the very end of each of these receivers is you see the blue here, and on this one you'll see it's red. Red is right, so the right one goes into the right ear, the left one goes into the left ear. Red is right. The other thing that red is for is raising the volume. So on the back of each of these hearing aids, depending on which type they are, you're going to have buttons either right there, or on the other ones, which are often darker, This is an older generation. The button is actually right up at the top. See that? And when you press the button on the right one, so red, right, it raises the volume. So think of it starting in the middle, basically, and it can go up 5 times. Beep, 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 beep. So if you keep hitting the right button, it'll keep raising. You go back to the middle, beep, 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 beep. That's each push. And I make it so you can turn it down by 10 times. And it'll do the same thing, you know, beep, 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 and then beep, 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 beep at the bottom. If you open and close the battery door, it'll go right back to where it started, so you can't mess it up. So those are the basic things to know. You need to know that the little tips kind of fit onto the ends, kind of like a mushroom. I'm trying to see how I can show that. And it should feel pretty solid on there. That first time I did it, I didn't get it inside that inner ring. So there's this kind of inner ring right here you want to get it to fit inside of. If it doesn't, it could come off. If this ever came off in your ear, it's really no more dangerous than earwax, but it can happen. So that's the general basics. The rest of these things we should probably go over in person. Make sure you open the battery at night. Remember, red is right, and right will raise the volume, left to lower the volume. And the only other thing I might want you to know is that if any wax gets inside here, you can take the dome off and you can actually clean it out this way. I can also send you, if you want, and I usually do, a little wax guard changing kit. And each one of these little sticks, so here's a box. Each one of these little sticks has an empty side with a hook and a new one on the other side. And what you do is you stick the empty side into the wax guard. You can pull it out, turn it over, put a new wax guard in, and then put the dome back on. Sometimes you want to take the dome in a baby wipe and kind of just roll it around to get any kind of wax out of it. You could also, if you wanted, take a look at this little loop at the very top, and you can actually go through and make sure it's clear. But this isn't something you're going to generally run into all that much in the first 6 weeks. So I hope that that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to private message me, and I am available to go through this by video. Okay? Take care.